Hello everyone, and welcome to part 3 of our communication skills video series. As we progress, each video lecture is going to be focused on a specific topic. Today's topic is sex and sexuality. Sex itself is a very controversial topic. When should I have it? Who should I have it with? Should I wait until marriage? Can I have sex without any emotions attached? There are countless questions that can be asked about sex, and there are also countless opinions about it. Society, religion, culture, family, and many outside factors affect a person's belief system on sex. What defines sex as sex? Each person is going to have their own definition and belief system. So remember to embrace this topic without judgment, despite your own personal belief system. Here's an outline of some topics that we'll discuss today. Sex and sexuality, types of sexuality, gender identity and expression, pregnancy, and sexually transmitted diseases. Despite heterosexuality being observed as the most accepted form of sexuality, there are several types of sexualities that a person might identify as. It is important to not label someone else's sexuality unless they choose to identify under a certain label. Some people are offended by certain labels. For example, some people like to identify as homosexual, while others might prefer to identify as gay or lesbian. Here's the types of sexualities, and so we'll go over each and every one of them. Heterosexual, also known as straight, is a person who is attracted to opposite sex. Homosexual is a person who is attracted to the same sex. Gay, men who are sexually attracted to men. Some women who are attracted to women will also label themselves as gay as well. Lesbian, women who are sexually attracted to women. Bisexual is a person who is sexually attracted to both men and women. Polysexual is a person who is sexually attracted to a variety of genders. Asexual is a person who is not sexually attracted to anyone but may or may not engage in sexual activity. Questioning is the process of exploring one's sexual orientation, investigating influences that may come from their family, religious upbringing, and internal motivations. Biologically, a person is born with their sex based on the sexual organs that are presented at birth. As you can tell by some of the labels mentioned previously, gender identification can have an impact on sexuality as well. Societal norms are based on a binary system. In the binary system, you are either a man or woman. While sex might be predetermined at birth, many experience a different form of gender identification than their sex. Gender identity and expression come in a variety of forms, which we will talk about in the next slide. Gender identity and expression. Biological sex is based on anatomy, chromosomes, and hormones. You can be male, female, or intersex. Gender identity is how a person identifies internally, which may or may not match the biological sex. Gender expression is how a person chooses to express their masculinity, femininity, both or neither. Transgender is an umbrella term for people whose gender identity or expression is different from those typically associated with their assigned gender to them at birth. Not all people who consider themselves transgender will undergo a gender transition. Transsexual, usually associated with those who have medically and or legally changed their sex or wish to do so. Gender fluid or genderqueer are terms used by people who identify as being between and or other man or woman. Cisgender is a person whose gender identity, presentation, and behavior match the sex that they were born with. Attached to this slide is a link to a short video that covers topics on gender identity and expression, so feel free to check that out as well. Pregnancy. Unless a person chooses to remain abstinent, there's always a chance of becoming pregnant. Birth control may help reduce the chance of pregnancy, but even the most efficiently proven forms of birth control can only promise a 99% success rate. Birth control comes in many forms, with condoms being the most commonly known form. Some birth control for women have different side effects. While many people think birth control is a positive thing, some cultures and religions do not believe in the use of birth controls. Some people attempt to become pregnant, but are unable to do so due to infertility. This could be the fault of either partner, and so there may be feelings of guilt or blame. Those who are infertile might also fear that their infertility might jeopardize their relationship. There are several other emotions that could be linked to infertility, but do not assume that the patient will view infertility as a bad thing. Menopause can also be a factor that can lead to infertility, which may come with a variety of emotions as well. A woman goes through many changes during her pregnancy due to the changes in her hormone levels and physical appearance. This can cause complications in the relationships that they are a part of. It is important to not give any advice about pregnancy or any other medical issues, even if you have gone through pregnancy yourself. People might have a variety of emotions and opinions about their pregnancy, so always ask how they feel about it. Sexually transmitted disease and infections. There are a variety of different STDs and STIs that a person might become infected with. Some people carry an STD or STI without ever knowing. The symptoms of each infection can vary from partner to partner and might change during different times in a person's life. Some of the infections have treatments, while some just have ways of reducing the symptoms. Because there are a wide variety of STDs and STIs, you might find that you are unfamiliar with some. Never pretend like you know something. You can always ask them to explain what they're talking about if they're comfortable. Skills. Some ways to help. Empathy. Make sure you let the person know you understand their feelings or motives. Get to know how they're feeling and see how you can identify with them. Empathy is usually portrayed in your voice tone. Usually you want to have a sense of understanding and warmth that comes from your voice. Normalization and validation. It is important to get an idea of how the person is feeling and to make sure to help them realize that it is okay for them to feel the way that they feel. You might do this through validation and normalization. You also want to reflect any emotions that you are observing and make sure to summarize throughout the conversation to make sure the person knows that you are really listening. Things not to do. Avoid judgment. The person's opinion may or may not contradict your own personal belief system. It is important to avoid why questions in order to avoid judgment. Remember that all why questions could be reframed into what questions. Finally, here's quiz time. Please follow this link to take the quiz for this lecture, and thank you for watching.